Hello, everyone out there, and welcome to a very, very special edition of Pregame Show for 90.5 WASU. I am Jacob Pearsall, joined today by a spectacular group of people. This is going to be a really, really fun show. I'm pumped for it. The game is going to be really good, too. Marshall taking on App State, joined today by Trey the Dog Blake, Dane, Great Dane Maggard, and the Beazle himself, Tristan Beazle. Hey, guys, App State plays football today. How we feeling?
Feeling kind of mid, Jacob. Can't lie. Feeling kind of indifferent.
Okay. Is that just because the season's been not the best so far? Or are you just not feeling football today?
Not feeling football today, but we're here talking Marshall, shooting the game with Will the Beanstalk Battershell.
So the
Beanstalk is crazy.
He's the Beanstalk.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a Dane.
Beanstalk batter.
That's awesome.
That's the
yeah.
goat name, bro.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Got to check the eating contest on YouTube.
Pumpkin pie eating contest.
Yeah.
He crushed y'all on that, by the way.
Dude, I don't like pumpkin pie, and I don't know how Will eats pumpkin pie like that, but
He said it was a struggle. Like, it wasn't easy.
it did not look like a struggle. It did not. It was way too easy.
Dane, how you doing?
Hilarious. I'm doing great. Good old busy. Did wrestling past couple of days, but for App State wise, feeling, yeah. I wish we could go back to that week one feeling, just like AJ Swan, record breaking performance,
Blowing out Charlotte.
Yeah, blowing out Charlotte. But yeah, now it's not so great. We need to be absolute perfection and win these next. App State needs to win next couple of games if they want some bowls. So
Yeah, if they want to go bowling. Tristan, how about you?
Feeling very apathetic, honestly. This is my first football broadcast that I'm going to be at Kid Brewer for, so I'm kind of excited.
Yeah, sideline.
But just the feeling for this team is just a state of apathy right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's been a rough year. There's been a lot to critique and a lot to work on throughout the year for this App State squad. And we're going to go in depth about this game coming up against Marshall. But before we do, for those that maybe didn't tune in last week for that awful game at JMU, I want to know from you guys, after a game like that, a team that was ranked for a moment in time, losing to them, and I mean, it showed that they were like a ranked-esque team. I believe they're not ranked anymore, but still, that's a very, very quality JMU team. One loss on the whole year, I believe. So yeah, it was a beatdown by the Dukes. They toppled the Mountaineers 58-10. AJ Swan ended the game with 8 for 28 passing. He's hurt, out for this game. So I want to know from you guys, there was a lot that went wrong. What sticks out to you the most?
Jacob, this JMU team is still ranked. They're not in the college football playoff ranking, but they're in the AP because college football playoff likes too much money. And they're going to go with the American every time. But my big thing from this past game, it's got to be play diversity. I'm going to steal it from D-Cats a little bit. We talked about this on the AWN Coaches Corner. It just feels like there's no fluidity in this offense. And maybe that's just me. I'm not a head coach. I'm not an offensive coordinator. But, man, it just feels like at points Loggins is just looking at A.J. Swan and just do whatever you want. It's kind of scary. And that's where my problem comes in a little bit. It feels like Loggins trying to be the head coach and the OC is just gotten off the tracks. I think we need to bring in not a real offensive coordinator, because we saw how good Loggins was when he was at like a Power 4 school like South Carolina. I mean, that was, 3-4 years of really good offenses. But, man, in this situation for this team, I think it's time to go look maybe in the low D1, D2, D3 range for a real offensive juggernaut as an OC.
Yeah, I got you.
To me, guys, AJ Swan he's stuck out like a sore thumb. I said it on Sports Rap on Tuesday, and I'll say it here. The offensive line is also battered. I mean, you look at the offensive line, I don't care if it was AJ Swan, Noah Gill, and Billy Wiles, or JJ Cole that was behind that offensive line. You weren't going to do much. And I just don't think it would have mattered who was quarterback last week against JMU, because this team and the way they performed, it's a reason why they should be the Group of 5 bid for the college football playoff instead of a 1 or 2 loss American champion. But also just controlling time of possession as well has been a big issue, and just keeping the defense on the field. They don't get time to rest. And that's going to be a big issue. That was last week's issue, and it might be an issue today.
All I have to say is App State's run defense is god awful. Like any team that App State plays now, just all they need to do is just to run the ball well. Mm-hmm. But like for the Dukes, Joby Mallory averaged 13 yards a carry, and it was insane. He was able to just run with ease, and it was embarrassing. And Wayne Knight knew just how to exploit App's defense and run and the pass game, being a dual threat in both areas. But like it was just an all around embarrassing loss for this team. Just this defense needs to improve. Like we have the keys. We have the keys there. Just they need to be used correctly. Mm-hmm.
How can you improve a defense when they don't get an opportunity to stay off the field and play their full potential?
Exactly.
That's the big issue here. Is that sure, App's offense has been kind of stale and stagnant these past like 6 weeks, but it's hard to generate offense when your defense is just never getting off the field. Mm-hmm. If you're going 3 and out, 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 and not putting 5, 6, 8, 7-minute drives together, it's going to become a problem for this defense, because if Marshall controls time of possession today by a margin wider than 5 minutes, we lose this ball game, because the defense is going to be exhausted. So I agree that the keys are there for this defense to perform. I just don't think that you guys got to keep them off the field and let them rest and recover.
You're 100% right, Tristan. I think you're right. And to your point, Dane, like the run defense, this team has 2 captains missing. Sean Collins and Thomas Davis.
That's what I was going to say.
Are gone. They're nowhere to be seen. They're not on the roster. They're not on the sideline. And that's a situation in itself. But when you lose 2 voices like that in the locker room, on the field, Thomas Davis went to Miami, and Sean Collins was a blue chip recruit out of New Jersey. He went to Rutgers. I mean, these are power 4 players that come here and make an impact. I mean, Sean Collins had like a monster year a couple years ago where he had like 8+ sacks or however many it was. Yeah. And you lose these guys, and when we had these guys, what were we, like a top 15 run defense in the country?
Yeah.
And then, they're gone. Kevin Abrams-Verwain and Dylan Manuel are, putting out great performances week after week
Rondo
after
Porter.
week.
I mean,
Rondo Porter as well.
Ferris.
We do. But, man, it just feels like they can't get any stability, like what you were talking about. Hey, we just had a great stop against a really high-powered offense. Dylan Manuel comes in, intercepts ball, and we're all sitting here like, man, this could be a game. And then what? AJ Swan just throws an interception, 4 and out. It makes no sense to me.
And again, it can't be 3 guys performing on defense alone.
Exactly.
I mean, sure, in like the Power 5 schools, there can be those 1, 2, or 3 guys that are just absolutely insane and are absolute offense wreckers. But you can't do that at the G5 level. I just don't think you can. And Manuel and Abrams-Verwain and Rondo Porter, Colton Ferris as well. It can't be just those guys. The secondary has to play better, and the second level has to play better. And to your point, there's also just a lack of cohesion without those 2 locker room leaders.
Yeah.
You lose 2 locker room leaders in Sean Collins and Thomas Davis, you're going to lose all cohesion you've had on defense. There's no amount of NFL level coaching in the world that can save a team that's lost 2 locker room leaders.
Yeah, and I feel like Thomas Davis, we all knew that he was really a big leader for this team. I mean, you can see on the field, you could see it in the press conferences. Like, this guy really wanted to win for his team, and it's really sad, especially because we don't really get a good reason why, him and Sean Collins were taken off of the rosters. But I want to look at this JMU again. 58-10 was the score. Joby Mallory had 8 carries for 105 yards. That's 13 yards per carry from him. Wayne Knight, 16 for 94. Matthew Slucka, 4 for 70. That's not going to fly. And Marshall, They have a solid run team, and it's not just the running backs. They got QB too, which we'll get to. But I feel like last week at JMU, 22 for 35, 303 yards was Barnett the third, and he didn't get much in the rushing game. that is something that App State has to keep an eye on for Marshall because they have so many options to run the football. But yeah, and I think also from the receiving end from JMU, they had such a widespread target share, and that's something that personally I think J.J. Cole will do a better job of maybe than AJ in terms of spreading the offense around. I mean, we saw it at Georgia State. I mean, it was Georgia State, but
yeah,
I mean, I think that is very, very important. And you talk about spreading that ball around. Well, with that injury report that we've seen, can someone pull up the injury report for me real quick for this game? Jaden Barnes is questionable. AJ Swan's out, obviously. It's going to be a Davion Dozier kind of day. That's what I'm saying. That's what I think. And when you look at the last game at JMU, he had 1 reception for 19 yards. The best receiver was Dalton Stroman, 3 for 74. And a lot of people had Dalton Stroman as that receiver 1 going into this year, but that's not really been the case. I want to hear from you guys really, really quickly. Who's your receiver 1 when everyone's healthy on this team?
Ooh, man. I think it's got to be Barnes.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason why he's this productive. Dozier gives it a run, and I think if Stroman was just more consistent, he could really be that like kind of like short to middle range guy. He's kind of like a receiver in a tight end's body.
Yeah.
And it's so, I don't know how else to put this, but he just makes me angry that he just doesn't catch the ball because he's so much taller than every guy he goes up against, but it just feels like it always drops.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's always like that.
Always when it's least convenient, too.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's very relatable. Every time that like perfect placed ball in Stroman's hands, and for some reason, like his foot placement's amazing. Like everything is there. He's just on the ball, and he's like, "All right, let's go to the next one." He's like, "Bro, you could have had that one. Like, are you kidding me?"
He's got the hands of Miles Turner for all the NBA fans out there.
Oh no,
that's bad.
He reminds me of CeeDee Lamb against the Eagles Week 1.
Ooh,
Gosh.
Ooh. That's bad.
That's very bad.
Yeah, not a great thing. Trey, do you have the injury report?
I'm trying to find it because Jaden Barnes was not listed.
Go to the Sunbelt website.
That's what I'm doing right now. But Jaden Barnes was not listed. But I mean, Rondo Porter was listed. They were all updated. But there was no Jaden Barnes.
Okay, well that's a good sign because I mean, even at JMU, Jaden Barnes had 1 reception, and that's another thing. While we're on the topic of JMU, when App State started the year, it was the run game. It was Dubinion. Actually, go Trey. I would love to hear.
Jaden Barnes, Juan Burkall are out. Rondo Porter is a game time decision. Trent Ramsey, AJ Swan out like we thought. So
Ramsey
those starters
hurts,
are out. Yeah.
I think as far as that goes, I think it's better to have Dozier healthy than Barnes in this scenario. If AJ Swan's QB, I think Barnes is the better player in general. But I think J.J. Cole just has this connection with Davion Dozier that is electric, especially downfield in those one-on-one scenarios. It seems like it works. So that's something that I'm looking at. But again, looking at JMU again in that game, Rashad Dubinion had 10 carries for 25 yards. Jakari Lewis had 2 carries for 0 yards. Something's got to change with that. And we talked a lot throughout the season because early on it was all Dubinion, and he was one of the best rushers in the league. But that's kind of tapered off.
Yeah, and who would be able to run behind this offensive line?
Exactly.
Fair.
I mean, just like, and it's no disrespect to those offensive linemen because they're a bunch of dogs, but a majority of the starters are injured right now.
Yeah.
And you can't block the run or block for a runner with an injured offensive line that's going to get worked over and, to be honest, just be a bunch of turnstiles for this outfit.
Yeah, and JMU had 6 TFLs in that game. So, I mean, that's something that App State just has to improve upon. And we're at the point of the season where, like, there's no excuses. There's no buffer. It's now or never. You have to win out the rest of the season. So I'm just hoping that they're able to pull things together a bit. Do you guys have any final takeaways from that JMU App State matchup?
Honestly, it's just time of possession, and why would you send AJ Swan out there knowing he's hurt?
Yeah, that's actually, I want to touch on something after, but Trey, go ahead.
I'm glad you brought that up, Tristan, because this is another thing that makes me angry. Dowell Loggins sat in that press conference and said that AJ Swann wanted to go back out there. Are we for real right now? Are we serious? You are a head coach, and I know it's not really amateur anymore. You are the protector of
that kid,
younger than 22-year-old. I don't know how old AJ Swann is, but you are the protector of this person.
Yeah.
Their parents sign him off to you as you're going to lead my son in a way, make him better as a leader, as a person, and a football player. And I'm sorry, but Dowell Loggins did not do that last week. That is disrespectful and disgusting that AJ Swann was allowed to go back on that field.
It's just head coaching malpractice.
Exactly. Thank you.
That's all it is. I mean, what are you doing sending a kid out there knowing he's hurt? And I'll call them kids because Dowell Loggins, that head coaching position is supposed to be like another father figure to these kids. And to send AJ out there knowing that he's hurt and knowing that he's not playing at 100% is just malpractice and just shameful. That's all it is. And you're saying that AJ wanted to go back out there. Did you see how he was playing?
Yeah.
Show of hands real quick, guys. Who would have pulled AJ Swann out there at the end of the first half? Everybody in here. Thank you.
Yeah. It's a thing. I get there are scenarios where they might be like, maybe they just twisted their ankle a bit and it's like, I want to keep playing, I'm fine. But there's a certain percentage level of how healthy you are that correlates to how good you play. And if you're hurt and you're also not playing well, it's a detriment to your team. Even if AJ Swann wants to go back in, forget about the safety aspects. Think about the winning aspect even, you know? Like, safety aside, you don't want this hurt quarterback in who's not playing well, and he didn't play well, he got more hurt, and I think you gotta put JJ in there.
Yeah, as a coach, like, even if he did want to play, like you said, you need to save the players from themselves. Like, that is like a big thing that coaches like need to have an aspect of, and that doesn't look like, if you're a recruit for App State who's like, oh, I might come here, and you see AJ Swann visibly hurt and he's still out there, and he knows, like, hey, what if that was me? Like, you know, like, what if you had a big injury and goes like, nope, you're staying out there? It was like, yeah, that's not good as a coach and a good look for this program.
This reminds me, and the only reason why I say this is because my mom's a diehard Commanders fan, and this reminds me of when Mike Shanahan and Dan Snyder kept RG3 in knowing he was hurt. And it ended that man's career.
Yeah.
And let's be completely serious here. That ended that man's career. And if you're sitting here now and you're telling me that AJ Swann staying in that game was a good decision, you're just plain wrong. And honestly, I just think that any of those coaches have to save that kid from himself, because you can be like, okay, cool, I want to go out there. The coaches have to step in and put their foot down and be like, no, you're staying out.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Well, our first segment is about over. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and dig into this Marshall squad, what we're going to expect from them, and then after that, we'll get into the Mountaineers. So thank you so much for tuning in here on 90.5 WASU. We'll be right back. Welcome back to George G. Beasley Media Complex. here for the App State football pregame show. Your Mountaineers taking on the Marshall Thundering Herd. It's going to be an exciting game. Hopefully, the Mountaineers can come out on top, and we're going to get into this Mountaineer squad a bit more later. However, first, let's go ahead and talk about the opposition, Marshall. This is a team that has had an up and down season, currently 5-5 as we speak, but there's been real bright spots for this team. So I want to know from you guys, what scares you most as a Mountaineer from Marshall?
Man, it's just whoever steps in that backfield. I'm really worried about, Michael Allen, Antoine Roberts. Carlos Del Rio scares me. And I really think we saw a lot from Alonzo Barnett last week. I like you said, we didn't really see him on the ground a lot, but I think we're going to see a lot of Carlos Del Rio today. I think we're going to see him kind of. You guys remember Gio Lopez last year in that South Alabama game?
Oh gosh,
I'm really feeling we're going to get deja vu this game. I feel like he's going to just bomb us on one and then rip off a 75-yard run on the next. And I don't think we have a way to stop him, because in our last two games, we've given up 466 rushing yards, 324 of which came against last week against JMU. And I think if you put JMU up against probably like 95% of these Group of 5 teams, they win. I think if they played like a really hard Group of 5 schedule, they'd probably go like 12-1.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, just a tough last two game for this run defense, like Dane mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and just this Thundering Herd rushing attack is going to scare the death out of me. And it's all because of the guy under center, Carlos Del Rio Wilson. He obviously top passer, but he's the top rusher on this team. You want to know how many yards a game he's averaging, guys?
How many?
65.
Ooh.
And Antoine Roberts, he's averaging 5.5 yards a carry. So if we can't stop Georgia Southern or JMU, this game's going to turn out very much like last week if we get shredded on the ground.
Yep, and it's dangerous. I mean, this team has a lot to work with in terms of that rushing game. I mean, you look at obviously the quarterback himself, Del Rio Wilson, but they have more than that. They have a lot more than that in terms of guys like Antoine Roberts and Michael Allen. This is a team, I'll be honest, I'm worried. I really am worried. And I have faith in the Mountaineers to come out on top here, but it's going to be a tough ask. And from my perspective, I'm a bit more worried about Marshall than I would be Arkansas State. And that's because of what this offense brings, especially on the ground game. Looking at Carlos Del Rio Wilson, he's got 1,761 passing yards, and yes, he is the 584 rushing yards as well. 17 touchdowns through the air, 4 on the ground, only 3 interceptions on the year. So not only does this guy sling the rock, not only does he run the football, he doesn't turn the ball over. And that is huge in a football game like this. And then you look at Antoine Roberts, number 44 from Nashville, Tennessee. Dog. 84 for 464 yards, 3 touchdowns, a 5.5 average. Not much from him in the receiving game. Only 5 receptions this year. But, I mean, App State's really the same way, except for that one game Rashad Dubinion got like 8 receptions. That was a weird one.
Yeah.
But Michael Allen as well, 64 for 353 rushing, 4 touchdowns and a 68 long. That's another thing. I feel like in the run game, you got to be able to stop that big chunk run. And that's hurt App State in the past.
And something that scares me the most, like you were saying the receiving game, but Toby Payne and DeMarcus Lacey are dogs.
Yeah.
And App State needs to treat them as such. We need to keep that run aspect totally in mind because, our run defense isn't the best, and we need to stop them. But they have weapons all around, and both were huge parts versus their win in Old Dominion. And if they get going against App State, it's going to be very scary. Like Trey said, it's going to be deja vu of South Alabama. Whoop. Ugh.
Not just deja vu, but honestly, it might be even worse.
Yeah.
I think that if you have a team like a Marshall or a JMU or a South Alabama last year that could really stretch this field, And you really hear the term stretch in basketball with like singular players, not teams as a whole. But for Marshall this week, if they can stretch the field and get us through the air and on the ground and have that mixed playbook, App's not going to know what to do. And if their defense shows up and keeps App from getting consistently downfield and churning clock, this defense is going to be burned out by the end of the half.
Yep. And I feel like having a tight end, especially, that is able to make plays. I mean, we saw it with Isaiah Cummings, how impactful he was for our team. And him being out is just a huge loss. For the entire time that he's been gone, things have gone downhill. It really does feel like that. And, I mean, we got the back end from him. He's a really cool guy. But they have their own Isaiah Cummings and Toby Payne. And this kid can play. The redshirt junior from West Virginia. This year, 363 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Year before that, 168 and 6 touchdowns. So he hasn't gotten a ton of touchdowns this year, still a decent amount. But in the past, he's been a big red zone threat. And I think that's something that could come to fruition in a game like this. He's 6'4". He has that tall frame. But I will be honest here. This is just a tall tight end group. 6'4", Tracy Stevens. 6'4", Sean Rouse. 6'3". That's a bunch of tall tight ends. And when you're asking a safety or a linebacker to guard that can get kind of sketchy. So it's going to be interesting to see what coverages App State runs to try and counter that. But also, as you said, DeMarcus Lacey, this guy's a dog.
Absolutely.
Dog. 49 for 582, 5 touchdowns. He also has 18 rush attempts this year, which is interesting to me, especially coming from a slot receiver like him. He's from Jacksonville State, along with a bunch of players on this team. A lot of Jacksonville State and a lot of NC State people coming from. Okay, man. Trey.
Sorry, had to do it.
It's okay.
This guy over here. Awesome. Sorry.
He's doing the
wolf
ears down. Yeah.
My man. That's what I'm talking
get
about.
Get out of here, bro.
Actually, I don't hate State that much. UNC's way worse.
Grayson Allen is better than any NC State basketball player.
I'm not going to say what I'm thinking right now.
Who's the best NC State basketball player of all time, Trey?
I don't know. You can't name it, though. You can't name it without giving it a hard thought.
Definitely David Thompson.
Oh.
David Thompson.
Grayson Allen's better than him.
Yes.
We're not doing this.
Obviously.
We're not doing this.
Don't worry. We're talking about football.
Gentlemen, this is a football show, not basketball.
Yeah. This is bait.
So thoughts on the NBA? No, I'm kidding. So I just want to know from you guys next up. So there's a lot of pieces on this team. What's something that Marshall has to do better than they've done in the past? Again, this team's 5-5. They're not an insane JMU level opponent. So what is something that they need to do better against App State than they've done in weeks past?
So I'm going to switch it up from what I've got written down here.
Ooh.
This Marshall defense needs to attack the quarterback more. They've had 5 losses on the year: Georgia, Missouri State, Louisiana. I'm blanking. I'm sorry. Georgia, Missouri State, Louisiana, Coastal, and James Madison.
Yep.
If you take out Missouri State, where they had 6 sacks, which is crazy. I mean, Missouri State, first-year FBS team. So if you just look at Georgia, Louisiana, Coastal Carolina, and James Madison, it's 4 games. They had 2 sacks. 2 sacks over 4 games. And Coastal Carolina, Louisiana. I mean, I get Georgia. You're not getting past 6-8, 5 stars all the time, right? But man, this team, like what we've been talking about, the offensive line is battered up for App State. Marshall has got to get at the quarterback if they really want to throw us off, because we saw this against Oregon State. I think that Oregon State's defense specifically is a little bit better than their record shows, and they got after J.J. Cole. But what did J.J. Cole do? He made decisions, and he made the right ones in the right time, at least when that first half started. So I think if Marshall really wants to affect this team, and J.J. Cole coming in after missing a couple weeks being benched, I think it starts there. I mean, obviously it starts in the backfield, but we talked so much about the backfield already. Kind of wanted to switch it up, throw the other side of the ball.
Yeah, and I want to touch on the schedule that they've had. They beat a very solid ODU team.
Yeah.
A very 48-24 was the score. And in that game, Carlos Del Rio Wilson, 17 for 24, 219 and 2 touchdowns, along with 95 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns there as well. Such a dual threat, and that's something that I'm really worried about. And on the other end, they contain Colton Joseph decently well in the rushing game, only 50 yards, which is a decent amount. But for a rushing QB like him, It's nothing too crazy.
Yeah, and I just think the other thing that Marshall needs to do well, you talked about the defensive side. I'm going to stay on that same token. Win the turnover battle.
Yeah.
Because when they win the turnover battle, this offense just hits another gear.
It does, yeah.
And if you force App State to commit a bunch of turnovers, not only are you going to get your offense back on the field, they're more than likely going to score points. Be it 3 or 7.
Yeah.
They're gonna put points on the board. This offense is very good at taking what the defense is giving them and running with it, and that's what frightens me the most today.
Yeah, what frightens me the most is that Marshall, one thing they're kind of like meh about is getting consistently down the field. Because one thing with their thing with JMU is that they had, of course, JMU's JMU.
They're JMU.
JMU's JMU.
Yeah.
As much as we're a rival with them, that somehow we were able to beat them last year in a little Cinderella run for a last little good win for that season. Mm-hmm. But this season, just not so much. But when they reach the end zone, 9 times out of 10, they're going to score on App State.
Yeah.
Because of how many weapons they have on their arsenal. Like we talked about it before, but they just have so many people. It's like Trey said, if they have an amazing run game, but if that doesn't succeed, they can always just depend on their passing game at the end of the day. Yeah. So it's just, I don't know, it's kind of just two sides to a coin. Like which game, who's going to have a great game today? Is it going to be our receivers or our running back? But today, it's probably going to be their running back, let's be fair.
Yeah, I think I agree. And you talk about the turnover battle, Tristan. That's something that is really integral. There's two things that really can swing momentum in a football game, as my friend Josh Scott at WATA says, turnovers and penalties. And that's something that they have to keep an eye on. Their defense has been pretty good at turning that ball over, though. They are second in the Sun Belt in interceptions with 13. They have a lot of different guys who's able to make those picks. They are fifth in forced fumbles. And then this isn't a turnover, but in terms of sacks, I mean, they've been solid as well. So the question is that what we're going to see today? And I don't know. I think this App State defense has struggled, but we've seen bright spots. I don't know if we're going to see many bright spots today. This could be a high score. I'll be honest. Before this, I was really thinking like, oh, maybe this won't be the most insane high-scoring game. But after some thought over the last few nights, it's going to be a high score. It's going to be a real high score. So I think there's a lot of people on this defense to look out for. I'm looking at Paul Hudson III. This guy has 3.5 sacks this year and 2 interceptions. Like, that's insane to me, along with 33 tackles. There's so many guys you can look to, though. Jabril Alamin is really solid. Jamal Weiss Jr., Boogie Trotter. What a name, by the way. Boogie Trotter.
First team all name Definitely. In the FBS level.
Yeah, there's some solid names here. Jadarius Green McKnight. That's a pretty good one. But, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people on this Marshall team to step up. And I feel like this is a team on both sides of the field where if someone's not having a good game, they're having an off game, someone else can pick up the slack. And that's something that they've proven throughout the year. But again, 5-5, the record doesn't show how good this team is, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
And especially with all these different concepts and plays that they run, they are just such an electric offense. And it's going to be worrisome, honestly. It's going to be very worrisome. I want to know from you guys, of all those players, who's going to have the biggest impact?
Whichever one of them steps in the backfield. Whichever one of them is behind or beside Carlos Del Rio Wilson. Carlos Del Rio Wilson himself. I think we're going to see a lot of design QB runs. I think we're going to see a lot of, moving this App State defense. And I think the real challenge for this App State defense is, it's winning the trenches every week, right? Yeah. But I think you really have to dominate this Marshall offensive line. Of course you do. For a dominant rushing game, you want to dominate them. You want to, come in. This is your home. We're home for the next 2 games. They're here. We're here. We're celebrating the 2005 national championship team today. Let's show them why people come to Boone. But again, we're talking about Marshall. I really worry about whoever steps in this backfield. I have a strong belief that they are just going to have themselves a day.
My guy who's going to have a day both on the air and on the ground, Carlos Del Rio Wilson. I think that he, without a shadow of a doubt, is going to be the X factor for this Marshall offense. And Trey, you say whoever steps in the backfield. I think it's the guy under center and Carlos Del Rio Wilson.
Yeah, like good points. Our run defense, App State's run defense is terrible, and they have a great run. And Antoine Roberts is going to have a great day. Mm-hmm. It's sad to say, but Antoine Roberts is going to have a great day. And Marshall does have a lot of points. Like Jacob, you said that their record does not define how good that this team truly is, and I agree 100%. This team is better than App State, but you're at the Rock, baby. There's a chance. There's a chance every time.
Always a chance.
There's always.
And like some of their wins haven't been that. I would say ODU is definitely their most impressive win this year.
Yeah.
I mean, and Sun Belt wise, they also beat Texas State and Georgia State. But
dude, to only lose by 12 against JMU,
right, that's
is honestly, I mean, there's no winning and losing, but man, you only lose against 12 to JMU with a whole new team, with a brand new coach that, isn't even an offensive-minded coach, but this offense is so high-powered. I think that, if Marshall leaves this season 6-6, or 7-5, it's a win. If they went out, it's a win. Even if you lose this game and win your next one, or lose this one and win your next one, if you go 6-6, man, this Marshall team is really good. They won the Sun Belt last year, and then guess what? Got gutted because of NIL. Yeah. So to completely flip the switch and be a half-decent team, man, I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad that you go and lose 45-7 against Georgia. You could have lost 80-0. It's Georgia.
Yeah.
And you don't. So this team has fight, and it's something that worries me. Again, I'm just worried today.
Yeah, and just this Marshall team, in all seriousness, like you said, Trey, for them to get basically gutted last year, there was nothing there. And to come out and be at 500, it's commendable. Exactly. And to hold your own against JMU, and you said there's no winning and losing, but that's a quality loss. I don't think there's ever been a more quality loss for a program this year. And for Marshall to keep up with them, it's scary to see what they might do to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said about teams playing up or down to their competition. So let's hope they play down to their competition today. That's something I'm hoping for. But I think it all starts with head coach Tony Gibson. I think that's where it all begins. Trey, you know a lot about him. I want to know what are your thoughts on him as a coach?
Tony Gibson's a dog. Yeah. He's been a dog. He's always going to be a dog. He's never going to stop being a dog. Tony Gibson is a great head coach. I was really mad when Tony Gibson left NC State because Dave Doran is kind of hitting that lull point of his career. He's about to be on his way out, and I just wanted to back up the Brinks truck for Tony Gibson. Give him the keys. Make him the associate head coach, kind of like Clyde Christensen is. I mean, if anything were to happen to Loggins, Christensen would step in. I kind of wanted the same thing to happen for Tony Gibson.
Okay.
He is really good. And the fact that this Marshall offense is really good is a testament to his offensive coordinators and his offensive staff, because Tony Gibson is not an offensive mind at all. Now, a defensive mind, man, he manned some phenomenal NC State defenses, about 3 or 4 years of just straight top 20, top 15 defenses. He's a dog, and I expect Marshall to come out with a bit more defensive pressure than they have in the past couple games.
Yeah, and the offensive coordinator, Rod Smith, has done wonders for this team. So it's about time for another break, but when we return, we talk about your App State Mountaineers. It's going to be a good final segment. Make sure to stay tuned here on 90.5 WASU. We got some bangers here on 90.5 WASU, royalty-free bangers at that. Shout out YouTube. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to George G. Beasley Media Complex. It's been a fun show so far. Very happy to be here with these esteemed gentlemen. But
esteemed's a stretch.
Hey,
don't say that about Trey.
Dude, come on, man.
I mean, esteemed? Are we really that good enough to be esteemed?
Yes,
I'd say we're great.
I'd say you're esteemed.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah, no problem. I got you guys. If you were shrimp, you'd be steamed. Because you're esteemed. Am I right, guys? Anyways, that was really bad.
Mild.
Hey, wait, hold on. I got you.
Bro, just get out himself.
Yeah, that's my
crazy.
bad, guys. Anyways, so let's go ahead and break down the Mountaineers. App State's season, it's been disappointing, to say the least.
That's one way to put it.
That's one way to put it. We've seen this team throughout the year since day one. What's their biggest issue today versus Marshall?
I think it goes on like the point I mentioned earlier, and I think it's the point we've mentioned a lot today. It's finding stability, and I think it comes from the mental game before the physical game. Loggins came in here and talked about that this team, maybe the program in general, had a culture problem, and a lot of things were technical and they were cultural. Well, we're hitting week 10, week 11, and everything's still cultural and technical. I don't see the stability on the field. I don't see the stability in the press conferences. I don't see the stability on my TV.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest issue. I think it's been the biggest issue all year. I think this team needs a reset game. I think this team had a wake-up game last week against JMU, against a rival that we've beaten. Heck, we went to their school for the biggest game they've ever had against JMU a couple years ago for game day. And what'd we do? We beat them.
Exactly.
En route to the Sun Belt Championship game, where we had no business being there. We had, the way we started that season, zero business being there.
Yeah.
So, and what happened? I know we had a wake-up game during that season. I can't quote it, and I'm sorry I can't, but we got a wake-up game. We had a wake-up game last week, and here's the test. Loggins has said that we're becoming better teammates all the way in week 9. We're becoming better teammates in week 9. Let's show it.
And yeah, it's just this. There's no stability, but at least for today, the biggest issue today is going to be controlling time of possession and limiting those turnovers. Because as you mentioned, Jacob, this Marshall team can get those. They can get the turnovers. And this Marshall offense is lethal, like I mentioned, at converting those defensive turnovers into points on offense. And App State just needs to play a complete 60 minutes. I think that if they play a complete 60 minutes today, we win this ballgame. You can't have what you had against JMU where you just came out flat and then just stayed flat. There's no cohesion and there's no stability. And if you're just sitting here looking at me, I'm completely with Trey on this. I think there's no stability. And if you're saying you have to become better teammates by week 10, there's certainly something wrong.
Yeah, what I have to say is like kind of on par with the stability, but consistency is a main reason that App State has the lack of success. They don't have an identity as a team. There's so many different parts of our starting lineup. We're just different every week. We're just like, all right, like who's the first unit? Who's the second unit? It's like we need to figure that out still. Like App State's entire roster needs to be on the same page. Success relies on consistency and stability.
And you mentioned consistency and success, and you mentioned that first group, second group. Another thing you got to ask yourself is who the heck's going to be quarterback? That's been an issue all season.
Yeah.
It's just who in the world is going to be under center? We saw against Georgia Southern when it was put on the video board that AJ Swan was going to start. We heard that reaction. If you have to figure out by week 10 who the quarterback is, and you say through the first 4 weeks that it's, whoever's better in practice this week is going to be the quarterback.
Exactly.
It makes no sense to me. You can't run it like it's a power conference where you have 2 or 3 great quarterbacks, where if one struggles, one comes in and the offense still clicks. You cannot do that at the G5 level, and you can't do that here.
Yeah.
I think we have 2 really good quarterbacks. I think AJ Swan is good. I think JJ Cole is unproven, and when he's gotten in the game, he's been really good in Sun Belt competition. Now, I completely agree with you. We are in. It was a week ago, after after Georgia Southern, we were sitting in the press conference asking Coach, hey, quarterback situation, it's in practice. What was it in week 1? It's in practice. We didn't even find out. A.J. Swan didn't even know he was a starter until 3 hours before the game.
We didn't know he was starting until he walked out on that field at Bank of America Stadium.
Exactly. And I don't know if – I understand, like, don't show your hand, right? But we have 2 quarterbacks that were recruited to the Power 4 level, and there's a reason that they got recruited there. Make a decision. Because guess what? You got 2 quarterbacks, you got 0. You got none. And that's what it feels like right now. Mm-hmm. Why would J.J. Cole and A.J. Swan come back? This is the landscape of college football now. You know what? A.J. Swan could go to Missouri State and, play in the Conference USA and lead this up-and-coming FBS team to something that App State can't lead him to. J.J. Cole, if he finishes out this year strong, can go to Baylor, can go to Purdue, and, get paid to play on big-time games, be on national TV. Why would they come here? We keep talking about mental challenges, and this is what happens. App State is just shooting themselves in the foot constantly with these mental battles. It's a mental thing. There's no pride on this team. And then we go back to play calling, and we do a fake punt on 4th and 27.
What are we doing?
4th and 27,
exactly.
DJ Burks
what are we doing?
goes back there and throws the ball. I didn't watch the game at that point, and I'm glad I didn't, because what was the cutaway after that? Dowell Loggins with his son and our 24-year-old general manager looking at the play sheet. Like, what are we doing?
It's not even what are we doing. Where's the identity on this team?
There is none.
Are we going to run? Are we going to give Dubinion 50 carries a game? Or are we going to let A.J. Swan or J.J. Cole throw it 50 times a game? There's no identity, and there's no mixing of the playbook. And when you cut to Dowell Loggins showing his kid the playbook and our 24-year-old general manager, what's going on? There is something wrong in this team, and it's got to get figured out during the offseason. I wouldn't even care if we won now. We don't deserve to go to a bowl game.
We don't. And that's 100% right. And there is this, like, kind of, we were talking on the AWN's Coaches Corner, David Katzmar brought up, and Bob, our professor, Bob Dooner, brought up, well, he's been doing that all year. Why is your son on the sideline? We are legitimately a premier Group of 5 program. We beat
not
Michigan.
Anymore.
We beat Texas A&M. We went to Happy Valley and went to overtime. We went to overtime against Tennessee. We beat South Carolina in Columbia. And what are we now? We are a joke. We are a joke. We are a team that teams get up to play, and we're still asleep. We're tired. We're on the field. We let Samari Collier come in and spank us around. MJ Morris, a NC State and Maryland reject, come in for one possession, and what'd he do? He slung it left and right, touchdown. It's over. We let Tim freaking Beck, another NC State reject, come in here 3 years in a row and just smack us around.
It's not even coming in and smacking us around. There's no heart. There is no fight. This team, I think they've given up since Boise State.
They've been giving up since Lindenwood, bro.
If we lost to Lindenwood, I think
we should have. Lindenwood is our best win all year, and they're a freaking FCS team.
It just makes absolutely zero sense to me. And Trey, I'm glad you and I are on the same wavelength here. That it's just. And Jacob, you wrote that App State's season has been pretty disappointing. I think it's been abhorrent to watch.
This dude and his dictionary.
I think that this team has been a blight to the history of this program, and to say, Trey, a premier Group of 5 school is a stretch.
We are a premier Group of 5 school. We have been. We were talking about, I don't remember who I was talking about this with. We had a 15-year stretch from Amani Edwards stepping on campus to Joey Aguilar a little bit and Chase Bryce of just phenomenal quarterback play.
Yeah.
15 years straight of quarterback play with 3 different head coaches. We had 3 different Jerry Moore. 4 different head coaches in that time span. And what are we now? We are a joke. We were a premier Group of 5 school. People come here for the mountains and the football. That's why I came here.
Yeah, pretty much.
I came here to get away from NC State football because it's terrible. And what I come to, NC State West.
That's all it is.
Exactly.
That's really all it is. And I just think that there's not enough coaching in the world that could save this team right now. You bring in this quote unquote elite coaching staff, and for what?
I'm not going to say what I'm thinking. Never mind.
Yeah, I think we still are a premier Group of 5 school, but
Thank you, Dan.
There's one bad year. Like
2.
If Alabama has a bad year, are they not an SEC school anymore? Like
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but
They're
see
dead to me if they're not going to be there. I'll never think of them again. They should go to the Sun Belt if they have 1 year where they're under 500.
Yeah, but I think App State still has a chance to be at least 500.
Do I
I'm glad you think that.
Maybe
There's a chance.
there's a chance.
I don't know if it's probable.
So you're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. And
if there is a chance, and there's a way.
I mean, Dane, I agree with you.
With the way, there's a chance.
I agree with you, and I am gonna backpedal a little bit because we have had an excellent history at the Sun Belt or in the Sun Belt. It's just these past 2 or 3 years, it's just felt like we've taken a step down.
It's true.
And I think it's also just because of the landscape of college football as a whole.
Dan, you got fans here. Is there anything you want to say?
My fan club is here, man. I don't know. I'm getting blush. I'm blushing, man.
All right.
I'm cheesing.
Really quickly, we have around 9 minutes left in the show. I want to hear who you think who's going to give App State the biggest advantage today, quickly.
Dan, go first. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, you're good. The only way for App State to win this game is for Rashad Dubinion to really step up. He hasn't really been here. We've seen a shadow of him, but he's not really here. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest. And when I was sidelined, he's there, he's talking, but just his field play isn't talking. He's more of being a locker room guy right now than actually being something. But for only App State to win this game, with a different QB almost every week, App State needs to depend on Rashad Dubinion. Rashad can run and be good for the pass game. And JMU used Wayne Knight in their matchup against Marshall, similar to how App State uses Rashad. So I think with a great game plan, Rashad can have a great night or a really bad night. No in between. He's either going to do really good or really bad. I don't think he's going to do. Rashad did meh. No, Rashad's either going to do good or bad. And that's going to be the difference maker here tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to switch the ball. I'm going to switch to the different side of the ball. I said Colton Ferris where we wrote down, but I think this linebacker core as a whole, we see Ferris, we see Arnhall. I like to see Brayshawn Littlejohn play a little more linebacker than he plays DB. I think he really steps up. We see McCanto slot in the nickel.
Yeah.
And I think Littlejohn's are really good. I think this linebacking core as a whole, they need to be the leaders. We talked about Collins isn't here, Davis isn't here. Who's going to step up? It's Arnhall. He's a senior. Colton Ferris. He's shown it on the field. He's a leader on the field. Mm-hmm. So let's go. Let's put pressure on this Marshall team like we saw against Georgia, against Missouri State. When you pressure them, they don't have success. But my worry is they are just way too fast. Mm-hmm. Loggins has talked about, I don't remember if it was the Boise State game or the Oregon State game, but they create space with speed. And that is the perfect encapsulation of this Marshall team. They are fast. They're going to punch you in the face, and they're just going to go. They're going to go. And I don't know if this App State defense is ready. But if it is ready, it's got to come from the linebacking core.
I think I'm going to go back to offense here. I think it's you got to spread the ball out more. And who else to throw it to than Davion Dozier and Dalton Stroman? With Jaden Barnes out, Dalton Stroman needs to step up and play that wide receiver 2 position well today.
Yeah.
Because if Davion Dozier is going to get 20 targets a game, what's the point?
It'd help if he'd actually catch the ball.
It would.
It would.
I don't think you guys are ready for the Sam Mbake legacy game that's going to conspire today.
I'm a believer. Sam Mbake. He was great week 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Sam Mbake is just a dog.
He's a dog.
All right. Well, with time running out, we got around 6 minutes. Let's go ahead and hear your guys' final score predictions. I want to know who you guys got winning and what's the score.
I got Marshall, 44-21.
Boo. Can we all boo Trey?
No.
Boo.
We got Debbie Downer over here, man.
Yeah, man.
We got Debbie Downer.
Hey, I'm here to be an App State.
Unbiased broadcaster.
Might as well put an M on that polo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hey, shout out Michael Allen.
Oh, yeah. But for me, we have a GOAT on our team. His name is Dominic DeFreitas.
Yup.
He is going to be the GOAT today. And I think our offense has a chance because with what J.J. Cole does well, he actually gets down the field somewhat well. Mm-hmm. And all we need is just get down there, and Dominic DeFreitas can kick it through the uprights, baby. So I think we will win. App State will win with a field goal. 30-27. Give me App State by a field goal. Last time win.
I just can't put any hype into this App State team. I'm going to take Marshall here, and I think it's going to be a little bit. I think it's going to be a one-possession game. 35-28 Marshall.
Ooh, Tristan Beazle with the bomb.
Bro, we got 2 Debbie Downers here, bro.
It's not Debbie Downers if it's the truth.
It's true.
Okay.
You guys are a bunch of mayors.
Yeah, you guys
Sorry,
are.
guys.
Just meh.
You guys are kind of lame. I'm not gonna lie. I am not lame. However, I want the Mountaineers, and I definitely put my score down, but I don't remember, so I'm going off the dome. Give me 38-35, App State.
No team breaks 40? You don't think so?
No.
Am I the only one who had a team break 40, by the way?
I think.
It's crazy.
I didn't personally.
And honestly, I just think that this Marshall team is just the better team all around.
Yeah, that's fair. It's been a rough year for the Mountaineers, but hopefully they're able to get a win here tonight. Well, we have 4 minutes. I want to hear some shout-outs from you guys, and then we're going to close out the show. What song do I pick? We'll do this. This is the longest one, so we'll do this one.
Ooh, I'm going to shout out, first off, Michael Allen. Shout out East Clayton Elementary School. I went to 1st and 2nd grade with Michael Allen, so shout out Michael Allen. I'm going to also go shout out Dominic DeFreitas. I think if we have a chance, Loggins has said, and it's shown on the field, special teams is our best unit, and I don't think that's a question. I'll shout out my family, shout out my girlfriend, and thank you guys so much for having me.
I like to shout out my gorgeous girlfriend, Lainey Tarleton. You're the GOAT. I know you're watching on a screen right now. Love you, Shoddy. But
Shoddy.
Wild.
Yeah. I loved her cat Puddin', who was my stepchild, and I can't wait to have a great Thanksgiving dinner with my family. And during Christmas time, have a great wedding reception with my Nana, who's getting married in December. So
Nice.
can't wait for
Shout
that.
out.
So good upcoming events happening soon. Shout out everybody.
Shout out to my friends and family. Shout out to my mom and dad. They are both hardworking individuals, so they are not listening, but they will be listening next weekend. So I'm excited for that. Shout out to my girlfriend Jordan. I love you so much. And honestly, just go App. As much as I just picked Marshall to win,
Wow, Tristan.
go App.
Go out, fight out.
Fake fan.
Fake?
You're fake.
That's wild.
You're saying go App, but you picked Marshall? Wow.
We need to have 2 M's on their polos right here.
Wild.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
We're in App State polos, but not picking App.
I want to quickly shout out my girlfriend. I love you. Shout out to our parents are meeting for the first time today.
Whoa.
So that's going to be crazy. Shout out the whole family. Shout out to my pets. Shout out to Chertia and Supa, my online friends. We play Minecraft. It's pretty awesome.
Big Minecraft guy over there.
And special, very, very special shout outs to AWN, who supplied us with the B-roll we use for this show. Special shout out to A-Game, who helped us with the lower thirds for the show, as well as the prediction graphics. Use that template. And shout out to everyone working behind the scenes. We got Austin over here, Will Battershell, we got Noah Robertson, Kelly Davis. Thomas. Is it Thomas?
Yeah.
Wow. Shout out Kelly Thomas. Especially Kelly. They locked in. All right.
Kelly.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in here on 90.5 WASU for the radio or the YouTube, wherever you're watching. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. WASU broadcast begins at 2:30 here on 90.5 WASU. See you then. Goodbye.